So this presentation is titled Defending Election Campaigns from Cyberspace. Feel free to ask questions, bug me, and just have a good time throughout. This was from myself, Josh Franklin, and my father, Kevin Franklin, who ended up getting a little bit sick and couldn't make it, so I'm going to be speaking. So this site is for a guy named John Lewis. He was running in 2014. He's a Democrat. But if you don't look at the small text, you might actually think that this is a pro-John Lewis site. If you click donate there, that money is actually not going to John Lewis. It's actually going to the National Republican Congressional Committee there, as you can see down here. And we found stuff like this on both sides. This just happens to be how I'm starting it. But so this is the kind of stuff that actually interests me, and I wanted to see the scope of this, how much of this is actually going on out there. And we found 12 pages basically exactly like this, using just different Bootstrap templates and using different images. So today I'm going to talk about who I am, some previous work, introduce my election scanning tool, ElectionBuster. We'll dig into some of my results files, look at how we can apply these concepts to other areas, and then we'll have fun with some 2016 presidential hopefuls, and then we'll discuss some recommendations and conclusions. Just a big note on this is party agnostic for nearly every single example I have from I have something from either party. If I don't have something, if I don't have two of something, it's purely because I didn't have an example from the other party. But yeah, this is not pro-R or pro-D. And I am not representing my employer either. They got a little bit uncomfortable when I started saying I'm going to be showing pictures of real presidential candidates. And so, yeah, so my name's Josh, about 10 years experience in the election technology field. I've helped run elections at both the local and state level. I've certified voting systems at the federal level, and I've helped write the voting standards that are voluntary in the U.S. I have a MS in InfoSec from George Mason. My father's supposed to be here. 15 years expertise in big data, and he has an MS in computer science. So in 2012, some friends and I decided we would find if there's any really interesting election cybercrime going on out there. And it was a very manual and arduous process. We had to, substitute O's for zeros and L's for I's inside of main domains for candidates. And that was really tiresome and boring, and so, but we did that in 2012, and we found a bunch of really cool examples of people basically doing cybercrime on the internet. And here's just one example. This was a fake Democratic National Committee site. This is dnc.org, and if you click that make a donation button there, that money's not going to the DNC, I promise you. This doesn't even look like a legit website, almost. I mean, yeah, and this was democraticnationalcommittee.org. Hosted on the same server was a Republican National Committee.org taking money in the name of the Republican Party, and they're both hosted on a server in Oregon. But today we're going to talk about the 2014 election. This was not a presidential election year, which meant in terms of elections it was a little bit boring. My thought was I'll get my tools going now, and then I can do it at scale for the 2016 election, which sounded fun. So there's 1/3 of the Senate was up for re-election in 2014. That's just how our electoral system works. Every 2 years, every single House rep is up for re-election, and then there are many local and state elections nationwide. There's over 10,000 different election jurisdictions in the U.S. There is literally an election somewhere in the U.S. every 7 days. So yeah, so there was a lot of elections going on, and It was pretty. So this was a pretty small potatoes election, though. In terms of methodology, I was looking for fake campaign sites and other malfeasance. Basically, I really wanted candidates stealing traffic from each other, and then candidates stealing money from each other. That was what I was really looking for, was money. Where's the money going? I wrote tools with my father to basically scan every single candidate running for the Senate and House in 2014. We also scanned some mayors and some governors. And so this was every single candidate. This isn't just everyone who actually won, right? I mean, sometimes there's 4 or 5 people running for a single office. So this is a crap ton of people. We then wrote tools to take screenshots of, of each of our hits, if you will, and then we collected the who is information as well, and then we combed through data to actually find anything that was malicious. The timeline of scans generally were from February 2014 to, I want to say, November 2014. But then last week, I decided to scan some of the 2016 presidential hopefuls, and so I just made the timeline of scans to October. Yeah. Workflow, this is our crazy process. We had a candidate list that I built from ballotpedia.org. Then we would feed those into ElectionBuster. Once we started finding things, we would then iterate on ElectionBuster over and over again to make the tool smarter, better, faster, stronger. And then ElectionBuster outputs results files, which is what we really, really wanted. We would take those results files, we would shoot them through some scripts, basically using Phantom JS and some Firefox extensions, down them all, and then we would get both of those pieces of information, and then we would perform manual review, which is slow and arduous and tiresome, and it was awful. Basically, me just going through screenshots on my iPad, just looking, is this look interesting? Is this interesting? Is this interesting? And if something was fun, then we would, celebrate, and we would put it into our let's talk about it at the presentation category, and if not, we just threw it on the big ol' pile and just kept on going. So let's talk about ElectionBuster. It's a Python open source tool. It requires 5 different inputs: first name, last name, type of election, home state, and year of the election. It requests every single combination of characters for a domain. And so, if there's, it would try Barack Obama for president, but it would put an A in every single spot, and then a B in every single character spot, C, and they would just try every single domain. So we're literally trying millions of domains. This is what it looks like when you're actually running it. Just a really simple script. But what does it do? It will quickly identify a candidate's real domains, where Hillary Clinton lives on the internet. It will quickly identify typo squatters, someone trying to put up a fake site for someone. It will help real candidates identify where they should be defensively purchasing or acquiring domains. And so I'm going to show a big list at the end of where I think nowadays any candidate should probably buy these 10 or 12 sites. And then, really cool, it'll actually predict if someone's thinking about running, because if you, in 2014, I scanned Hillary for 2016. What you end up seeing is this really methodical Hillary Clinton, .com, .org, .me, .us, Christie.org.me.us, and so someone has very methodically gone through and purchased each of these domains. Of course, we can't get 100% certainty on if that's actually Hillary Clinton or Christie's actual campaign, but you can get a rough idea. If anyone wants to mess with it, it's right there on GitHub. Please go play with it, fork it, make it better, break it, and if you break it, please email my dad, not me. Issues with it. It is slow. We're talking unconscionably slow. We're requesting millions of domains. So when I started doing this, it was on my 2008 MacBook Pro over Wi-Fi. It took about 8 to 12 hours to scan one candidate, which basically meant actually coding it up and testing my code was really awful because it would go for 11 hours and then, it would have some sort of fault or error. But then I wised up and I put it up on Amazon EC2 and it takes 5 to 15 minutes per candidate now. Much, much better, which means you can do it at scale, which means you can make these giant lists and just script scanning a whole election in like 3 or 4 days, like every single person, thousands of folks. Issues, your typical input validation issues. I handle most of the things, but there are some things that don't quite work well. So O'Malley, I just made it so you have to take out the special character there, and if you have something like West Virginia, put it in as West Virginia as a single word. But yeah, let's get to the actual thing. Okay, so you're going to see where, what party and what candidate, where they're from on the top right for most of these, so you can quickly know what I'm talking about. On the left here, you see a sample scan. These are actual hits. This is alfranken.com, alfranken.net. If you get nothing, it just looks like, it's basically just a HTTP error. On the right here, you get, after millions of these errors, basically, you get Al, Frank, whatever, and these are the actual positive results. You see your input and how long it took to perform that scan, which is cool. Same thing here. This is a red candidate, Corey Gardner, and same thing. You can see he had a lot less output. And we're talking, I'm scanning millions and upon millions, and we have 15 positive results here. So there's a lot of things that, it makes a lot of incorrect guesses. Like I said, this was a multi-year project, lots of log files, lots of screenshots, thanks to Google for hosting that. We got lots of false positives and parked domains. We're talking 90% of the screenshots we got were just GoDaddy. Like, it's basically just GoDaddy. Everything's GoDaddy, it seemed. I expected a lot more domains out there that would be through other registrars. We didn't find a lot of malicious activity in 2014. Found a lot more in 2012, actually. Found mostly slanderous sites, and we don't have any statistical analysis on this at this point in time. Something I'm building into it for 2016. Should be cool. But let's take a look at some of the positive things here, the positive results. The slanderous sites, we just called that muckraking. It's where someone purchases a domain that people are likely to visit, like Jeb Bush with 2 H's. Someone might accidentally type that, and they would put up a anti-Jeb Bush ad, or a Bernie Sanders with no E, and it would put up an anti-Bernie Sanders ad. These sites could be from blogs, from citizens, or sites set up by their opponent. Doesn't really matter. It's kind of interesting, though, to see what people put up there. This is probably legal, right? There is an anti-typo squatting law in the U.S., but I'm fairly certain this falls under the First Amendment, that pesky First Amendment. And we found a lot of these muckraking sites. This is the most thing that we found here. Here's Mark Udall. The site was actually Mark's Udall. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner. Kind of interesting. There's a fairly decent graphic designer behind this. Well done. Kind of a cool site. Right here you have the real Corey Gardner, and that's what it is, realcorygardner.com. And this is part of the development of ElectionBuster. When I found a site such as Real Corey Gardner, my tool probably wouldn't have caught that. And so once I saw that, I put that into my tool as a template. And so I now try real first name last name .com, me, US info, whatever. And that's just how the tool iterated. This is another interesting one. Shelley Capito. It says hypocrite and coward. But they're missing an E in Shelley. Down in the left-hand corner, you can see. It's another slanderous site here. This is for a Democrat, Amy Bell Gard. I actually learned a lot about all these candidates that I'd never heard of before. You have to go visit their Wikipedia page, right? Yeah, and someone didn't like her, and they put up a, Amy is not cool website, and she actually didn't win. So identifying typo squatters. This one's cool because this was the biggest race in 2014. The biggest race, at least in my opinion, was the Secretary of State of Kentucky versus Mitch McConnell, who is in the U.S. Senate. And he's, I think he's not the junior, he's the senior senator. Yeah, and so Alison Grimes was really challenging him. And so what you see here is you go to mitchmcconnell.org, and it ends up going to Allison for KY, which is Kentucky. And so I have no idea if Alison Grimes actually did this. I doubt it, but who knows? That's the whole thing about this, on the internet in general. If someone attacks you, attribution is difficult, right? You can check the who is, but most of the time that's redacted. So we saw a fair amount of typo squatters there. And then the predicting who will run. This was done in 2014. I promise. I have no way to prove to you that. But this scam was done in 2014. These are just some of the domains that I saw for Christie. At that point in time, people were talking about him being the Republican front runner. So I paid a lot of attention to him at that point in time. And so I just set it up for Christie, New Jersey President 2016. And this is what pops out. There's many, many more. And then same thing for Hillary. This is Hillary. I didn't know whether to call Hillary Arkansas or New York. So I put in Y in the top right. So whatever if I'm wrong. And again, what you're seeing here is a very methodical person going through and purchasing all these domains, which really should make someone think, there's probably someone doing that, because a lot of the scans didn't have this many results. Most people returned 5 or 6 domains max, and I think Hillary returned like 180 or something. Malware. So this happened a couple times, and it taught me a good lesson of doing this on my personal box. Don't do it, not in a VM, because I was stupid. Got to blow away my whole computer. But I found this is Phil Gingrey. He's from Georgia. Went there, and it was a drive-by download, and some nice malware hit my box. So we alerted the candidate via Twitter. The guy never got back with me. I don't know what gives. I don't know. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. We saw a couple different instances of that. And in 2012, just off the top of my head, in 2012, we found a number of candidates who were actually accidentally hosting Viagra stores on their really old website. So like Obama still had like a Obama 2008 site. And his wasn't one of those, but a lot of candidates just kind of let their old sites die, but they just kept them up. And they just left them unmaintained, and a lot of them got penetrated, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. Future updates to ElectionBuster. I want to make it faster. I think I can do that through some DNS tricks. Statistical analysis, I want to put that in there. I hear R is a cool programming language just for that. I've never done it. Sounds like a fun challenge. I want to use computer vision to automatically pull out the parked domains. Seems pretty easy because every single GoDaddy site has that giant GoDaddy logo in the exact same spot. Frankly, I could probably just parse the HTML using Python's beautiful soup library, but I want to make it fun. Yeah, so I want to pull those out to make to reduce my total screenshots that I have to review from millions to a couple hundred, hopefully. Something I can sit down with a giant pizza and 2 liters of Code Red, and just finish it. Piping into Whois, lots of domains, which is really, really cool that we find all these crazy domains. Let's throw them through Whois, and let's pull down that information and parse that information out. I wrote a quick little script to read ElectionBuster output files and put that information all into a single doc for you, and then it scans it for Gmail, Hotmail, whatever .gov, and it just kind of puts that out and says, hey, here's a couple email addresses. Here is Alison Grimes again. Her husband registered a domain for her, and he used his real first name, last name, and then his real address. If you look it up on Google Maps, you can totally see it. And he used a real phone number too. I totally wanted to call that phone number, but I didn't. Wink. No. Then the PA House Republicans was kind of interesting. Instead of using Whois Privacy from like GoDaddy or wherever, they just used a Gmail address, PAHouseRepublicans@gmail.com, which is kind of cool. And here's 3 that happened to be using it, but it was literally like I think it was like 50 something people. So I wanted to apply this to other areas. You got state and county election sites, right? You got super PACs, you got special interest groups. Why can't this concept be done in other areas? ActBlue is something that just kept popping up again and again and again. And ActBlue was actually, it's like a, when you push donate on a Democrat site, except for Hillary, you're probably using ActBlue's tech. It's just, like a portal to receive money. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so cool. There's gonna be all these fake ActBlue sites. No, there was a bunch of parked domains with very similar names, but no one's actually using them. So those 2 were the real sites. Everything else was just a false alarm. I thought it'd be interesting just to scan the Our Country Deserves Better pack. And when you get to these long domains like ourcountrydeservesbetter.com, ElectionBuster takes so long because it runs through every single possible combination, A through Z, 1 through 0 through 9. And this thing ran for like a day or something. I forget, but it only returned 1, which was very anticlimactic. This one's kind of cool. I was just cruising on the Maryland State Board of Elections website, like you do, and I saw this really interesting note that says, potential phishing alert, legitimate emails from the State Board of Elections end with maryland.gov. There's some other information there, and so I thought, oh man, I'm totally scanning that. That's gonna be awesome. I scanned it. It ended up being really weird. So you can see all these typos that returned a real site. And I'm not exactly sure what's going on with it. If anyone wants to help me find out, that would be cool. I have contacted them. They're not exactly sure what's going on either. But basically anything, I think someone bought md.org and md.com, and I think they are just returning a splash page for that subdomain. I'm not sure. It's really shady looking though. So yeah, that was kind of cool. 2016 presidential hopefuls. This was awesome. You can't have anything without anonymous, right? At a security conference, someone's got to bring it up. This is thump2016.com. I don't know why, but this says the Humanity Party. And I was like, okay. And they're telling people in here to go register to vote, which is awesome. Go register, that's really cool. And then they say, but don't register your real name, register anonymous. I have no idea why. That's not gonna help anyone. Yeah, and of course, attribution's difficult. Who knows, this is actually anonymous. Yeah, so here's some more Trump pages. I didn't drop in the URLs, but they're all various typos. My favorite is Ronald Trump 2616. I'm digging that one. Trump, Make America Great Again. That's like a pro-Trump site. Here, don't be an idiot. Are you seriously considering voting for Trump? Are you? I don't know. Whatever. You can't really see it because of the projector, but it's a cat with Donald Trump hair, and this is another cat. I don't know why someone else also had a bunch of chickadees, like tiny ducks or whatever, with tiny toupees on. That was really cute. I just kept that one for my own usage. Donald Trump actually did a really good job of defending his namespace, if you will. He purchased a lot of the really reasonable domains that one would need to purchase, and there was a lot less, anti-Donald Trump muck-raking stuff than I thought that there would be. I figured there was going to be he's a candidate who gets people excited one way or the other, so I figured there was going to be a lot of interesting things there, and a little less than I thought. I will say that Donald Strump redirects to a Jeb Bush Sucks Facebook site. Don't know why. And then there's a lot of redirects from his namespace to Bernie Sanders. His ActBlue page. I don't know why. That's just what I found. This one's interesting. This is Carly Fiorina. I can never say her name right. She did some controversial things. I'm just assuming no one knows anything about politics, whatever. She did some really interesting things in terms of she fired a lot of people, made a lot of people angry. And so I found this site. It's carlyfiorina.org. There's actually 30,000 of these sad faces. I just photoshopped it into one. This is kind of interesting. So Hillary, this is HillaryClinton.net. You can go there right now. I have no idea. Well, there's a picture of her and Trump. Looked into the who is. It's masked. Kind of interesting. This guy's awesome. Hillary Clinton missing an L. Presidential campaign of Donald Eugene Lowe. Here he is. This guy looks like he's having a great time. He's got a meme t-shirt. This guy's making it happen. And he's really wanting you to vote for him in 2016. He's going to work hard for you. It's just kind of interesting. I found, in terms of Hillary, I got notes here. So there was lots of Hillary's going to run in 2016 pages. There's not like Hillary's running right now. It were lots of like Hillary is going to run pages. I have no idea why. It's like what they all said. Hillary's going to be running. Get ready. I didn't find many slanderous sites against Hillary. I was surprised by that. I think I have one more. Here's Bernie. BernieForPrez.org. This is a pro-him site. I didn't find many folks doing anti-Bernie sites either. And a matter of fact, if you look hard enough, you see the guy from Back to the Future in the bottom right-hand corner. This is a site from someone else who just happens to be named Sanders. He doesn't look like Doc from Back to the Future? Gosh, okay, fine. There wasn't too many anti-Bernie pages. I expected there to be. Going a little bit faster than I expected. Odds and ends. Political domain registrars. There's some political web names here. That's the company. This freaking site shows up everywhere. Like, they bought a lot of my templates, and so then I set some of my templates. I based it off of their info. I figured they knew what they were talking about, and I didn't include them unless I had a real example. But this guy's just, Joel here has given out his cell phone number for Udall 2016, but then he's not even talking about Udall that much. He's talking mostly Clinton. Kind of odd. And then you get a cool Ronald Reagan. Come by this. There's a bunch of different domains. So there's most of these domains, people are selling them for like $2,000. I have no idea if that's a real market value, but they're trying to sell them for thousands of dollars. And now with my current knowledge of how this stuff works, you can bet I'm going to be trying to make some money in 2016. So we'll see how that works out. This is my award for the most American domain. You get a quote from Patrick Henry, you get a gun, you get ammo, you get the Constitution. I have no idea what the site's even about. It just showed up. I mean, and this is par for the course here. I didn't think I would have time to show a lot of crazy domains, but now I wish I did. But yeah. We found just so many crazy things. I saw people trying to sell blood, right? I mean, just like vials of blood, and it's got all these Russian Cyrillic alphabet there. Lots of porn for some reason. And it was mostly Japanese. I don't quite know why. There was, trying to think, lots of parked domains, and then lots of student elections. People are putting up their own student election page. There was just so many student elections, and I found that a lot of the candidates ended up leaving up their old pages from past years. I think I talked about that a little bit, but and they just let those pages go into disorder. And some of these candidates in the House and Senate have been, in the House and Senate for, over a decade. And so those folks in the House, some of them have a page every 2 years for their new election. And you can actually look at it. And it's cool because you can see how web design changed every 2 years, which is kind of interesting. There's recommendations and conclusions here. Here's my common templates list. I mean, anyone running nowadays, I think, should really purchase these. L name plus F name, right? L name hyphen F name. F name plus year. F name plus last name plus year. Vote. I get a hit every single time with vote, almost. I mean, even if it's just... even if it's just the wrong site, I still will get something for vote plus first name. Team plus first name. I think Mitch McConnell started that in 2012 maybe, but now it's super, super popular. Everyone's having their own team something or other. F name for position. So like Josh for president. Hint, hint. That would be a fairly popular. Domain. And then, if candidates are going to do this, that's just the actual, a text of the domain that has nothing to do with the actual TLD. And so I found a lot of com, net, org, me, US, and info. I should have put info there. As some of you know, there was just huge amounts of domains, new TLDs that were debuted. Because I was kind of getting into this, I saw right when that happened, and I was like, oh, I'm going to buy cyber.ninja. It's going to be awesome. And I bought that for $200, and then I was like, I'm going to sell this for $20,000. And then they ended up taking it away from me and selling it to someone else. But anyway, I was very unhappy about that. And then our tool does suggest domains you should purchase, you should purchase the moment it gets used. And so, when you actually push enter, the first thing it does is says, okay, with your inputs, here are the top, 12 that you should use. You should go ahead and buy these. So for 2014, there was just, honestly, there wasn't a lot. I knew there wasn't going to be a lot, but I thought there was going to be more than what I found. With the 2012, not even really trying, I found so much stuff. So many people stealing traffic from each other, stealing money, all these fake sites, but I really didn't find that I didn't find that in the 2014. And as you can see with some of those 2016 hopefuls, the presidential election is where you start seeing a lot of actual cybercrime. And so my goal is now I can take scans every month. I'm going to do them on the first of every single month. And then I'm going to make some statistical analysis tools and I'll be able to actually measure how much of this is actually going on. And that'll be cool to actually get numbers on this. Yeah, our tools can be used by any candidate, and I'm kind of hoping some candidate will actually use it. I don't know how they'll figure out. I'll post on Twitter and stuff. But I mean, a really dog catcher style candidate, someone who's at the local level. They can use this and they can protect their brand, which is kind of cool. And so candidates should basically purchase these domains, in my opinion. Candidates should not put personal information into the Whois database. I know I'm speaking to the choir here, except for that guy. And look twice before you donate. Make sure it's actually who, make sure that the money is actually going to who you think. And if you want a copy of our data, just ask. I'm going to put all this up on my personal website. And if anyone wants that information, that link's probably going to be active in a couple hours. Yeah, so that's my talk. And any questions? Oh, yes, sir. No. I did not. He is a very divisive candidate, or so another candidate who really excites people. And so I didn't show anything from Rick Santorum because it was definitely not PG. Yes, sir. Once more, I'm sorry. URL crazy? I am unfamiliar with it, sir. Please enlighten me. That would have been awesome to know about. Oh, cool. Nice, nice. No, that's really, really cool. I hadn't even thought about, going through, like, so is it actually hooking into a registrar? Is it a tool from a registrar? Okay. No, it's totally cool. Love it. Yeah. I mean, and that's part of the process of making the tool more streamlined, right? If I can take out a couple million bad guesses, it can be a much better tool and work faster. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I was wondering if you looked at any of the attribution lines that a legitimate site will have.
Can you example me?
Well, you showed it earlier that paid for by the like legitimate organizations are required to put that on there, or the corporations are registered by in a given state.
That's a great point. I never thought to look at that. Off the top of my head, I will say that whenever I found like a slanderous or muckraking site, I really didn't see those. But yeah, it's something that's fairly easy. Maybe that'll go with the whole computer vision thing. I can look for a box at the bottom of the website. That'd be a good little indicator that this is a legitimate site. I think it's a cool idea. Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah. I found 12 in 2014, and they're all for House candidates. And yeah, unfortunately, I only found those on one side of the coin there. But that's what I was really looking for, right? With those types of things, that's what I want. So I I haven't really done much because I work for the federal government, and I didn't really want to make too many waves. When I saw things that were obviously bad, like malware, I alerted the candidate ASAP. But I am definitely hesitant in calling a site a crime in general. I mean, we can see that. I can show some more examples of those if you want, but if you read the first thing there, I mean, there's a case to be made that this is a legitimate site, and that's kind of the issue. There's a serious shade of gray because, I mean, the small text is John Lewis is tired of sitting on the sidelines watching his boss, longtime liberal crusader Max Baucus. That means that, John Lewis is bad for Montana, right? I mean, so I could see a case to be made that this is just a user hurriedly going through and clicking donate. At the same time, I could see there being, it's kind of a vulnerability, if you will. I mean, this is like a UI issue. It's like, UI trickery. Almost. Yeah. So I loved these ones because they were all out there, easy to find. My tool found them quickly, and and they were just so gray. I couldn't figure out who was actually at fault there. And the who is information for this was not obscured at all. I think these are actually still out there if you want to take a look at them. Any other questions? We got lots of time, folks. I don't know. Sorry for going short. Yes, sir.
Who is where they didn't do a private registration? Did you do any searching for other sites that individual registered? Because it'd be interesting to know if they type of squat outside politics too.
That would be interesting to know. Again, a good idea for a future. Seriously, for a future thing to add. I just didn't, to be honest, I just didn't think to do that. I love it. Why wouldn't that happen? Yeah, love it. Yes, ma'am. No, that's pretty. Love it. No, that's a cool idea. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I hadn't thought to do that, but it's a fairly simple thing. Just gotta hit the Wikipedia page for a given candidate, and then run another scan. Yeah. Was it Bo? No. What's the name? It is Bo. Okay. Now I'm kind of curious. Does anyone know if there's a Bo for president site? No. I like that. The only issue to not do that would be it'd be another set of log files and scans to store. But I mean, that's not too big of a deal. I mean, whatever. I'm paying for like 60 gig of Google storage. I'm picking up what you're putting down, totally. Agreed. Yes, sir. No. I didn't. I didn't really have anything that was crazy cool in 2014, so I didn't really track it down that much. I mean, this one was someone was taking credit for this site, right? For these, these were the 12 smoking guns for 2014. But in 2012, we did that sort of stuff. Yeah. And that's how we found those fake DNC and RNC pages, and then someone might have scanned those sites as well, to see what they're running atop of and things of that nature. Any other questions? 10 more minutes. Yes, sir.
How often do you see candidates proactively registering, like, squatting?
How often did I see candidates sporadically squatting? Oh, okay. See, yeah, Trump did a great job of that. Trump did a really great job. Trying to think. Frankly, it kind of correlated with the larger the candidate was, because my guess is that they actually have someone who understands technology behind them, right? And that would make sense, right? I didn't include it, right? But you can see here, like, there was a fun little Hillary one. Oh man, where's the Hillary one? If you looked at the actual HTML of, oh, this was a good Hillary one. That was interesting. Yeah, totally wasn't just doing my slides. Oh, this is a good one, Hillary Klingon. Yeah, like actually, Hillary didn't do a very good job of squatting, but if you look at her, at the HTML behind her page, actually, she has her logo in ASCII, and it says, if you want to come work for the Hillary campaign, click this link, which is that's kind of interesting, actually. I think. Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, those were the domains that returned as positive results, but a good number of those are just parked domains that I couldn't figure out if it was actually anyone, which stinks. Like, so here's a results file from Hillary. This is all me just making slides. Boop. Okay, cool. So this is like really what a ElectionBuster results file looks like. I mean, you get all this information about it. It just kind of goes on, and here are the positive results. 177 is what Hillary had as of Thursday. Yeah, and so I have to go through all these, and most of them are just GoDaddy, and I hate my life the whole time. Yes, sir. I didn't, but it's a really reasonable feature. Yeah, actually, I'll probably build that in, if someone could, optionally include that command line argument, because why not? I mean, the biggest reason, again, to say no is that I might get a lot of extra garbage, but I can get something cool, and it's going to make it run slower because you're adding like 6 or 7 letters, and so it's like 6 or 7 letters to your total character set, so like A through Z, 0 through 9, which is going to add that on, and that's going to be, it's going to add a lot more. But still, why not? Yeah, love it. Yes, ma'am. Oh. Okay. R. Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. I love it. I will totally test that theory out, because yeah, why not use the candidate's initials in there? I mean, that's super. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be a really cool. That's another awesome idea, and it's super simple to try. Thank you. Someone else raised their hand. I didn't see them. Yes, sir. No, I did not report them. Since this is being videotaped, I'm not going to answer you, but if you want to come ask me after, I'm happy to give you the down and dirty, and I can send you a couple screenshots, whatever you need. You let me know. I ain't judging anybody. But yeah, there were a lot more for female candidates, unfortunately. Like a lot more. Yeah. But most of the pornographic sites were just like random, just porn sites, and I'm like, and like, so that means I can't do anything like on the metro, right? Because someone could be behind me, and I'm like, what the hell is that guy looking at? which really made it, I had to be home, with like a curtain around me, yeah, unfortunately. Anybody else? Oh, yes, sir. I didn't understand. Oh, totally. Oh, yeah, totes. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I can show you a good example here that I have open recent. Boom. Oh, nope. That's my wife's comments. Hey, honey. There was here somewhere defending cybercrime and elections. There we go. This is my presentation from a little while back, but you can see that there were. Yeah, I like that one. I don't know what party he would be for though, right? I mean, it'd be a little confusing. There's a cool example here of. Okay, so this one's awesome because it's on Craigslist. Someone's trying to sell their vote for $25. Where is it? That's a dog voting. There's one where it shows the Google search result. Yeah. So here you go. Our country deserves better PAC, and it's a buy Viagra online from an official, certified pharmacy. And all those pharmacies are Canadian. I don't know why. Yeah. Does that answer your question? I mean, sometimes they were in there. Sometimes they weren't. I mean, I assume as long as they don't have robots.txt in there, they will be indexed by Google. But then, their whole algorithm is going to make sites that people go to more often appear towards the front. So, yeah. Yes, sir?
Do you ever try putting in information that might change elections in other countries?
No, I haven't. I've thought about it, though. Yeah. I totally bet it would work, right? Have you seen that? Have you seen candidate A hosting like I'm Josh, so it's like joshsucks.com and then is okay. That'd be awesome. I would love that. Yeah. I mean, I was talking with the gentleman who was attending this conference yesterday. He was from India, and I was telling him about this, and he's like, in India, you can't put things, you can't put anti-candidate things up on the internet and stuff. And so, I mean, it'd be cool to see from a malware perspective, and then from like a political speech perspective as well. Love it. How are we doing on time? I'm gonna cut it. Okay, everyone, give me a round of applause. Thank you so much, and come say hi.